Okay, so well, first, so we're gonna finish up on the south. We did the west. Now we're gonna talk about the south. But before we do, we're gonna recognize that it's Carrie's birthday. So, and I love that you did this, and that her name is Kof Olaf Reshiot. Ari Kari. Kari. So in Hebrew, because we are creators, we can create our name. And this would be Ari, lioness, with a Kof on this, on the prefix. So this is a tamed lion. One that has become the intention of growing into the stature of mother's side of the compass, right? We can use this as everything lesson, everything speaks. So we can say that her name, even on this day, is saying exactly what is to become. Is you have to cough, grasp, to then ingest, for the purpose of taming yourself, so you can become as Ari, as the lion, as Yehuda, right? Praise. So.
Pretty cool.
Thank you.
So we'll just keep that because it's such you did a great job on that. So we just recognize Carrie today on her day, that she was brought in to assist not just us but other people in how to see, how to prevail, how to become, and her whole life essence is to teach, exhort, and edify. And so I'm very gifted and blessed to have her as a partner and a wife, that we were put together to do this together. So it's truly a blessing. So we celebrate her day today before we start. So, okay, so we're still talking about everything we're talking about is still based off your question that you first initiated with about Wizard of Oz, because that's the mighty, right? Oz, Ayin, Zayin.
Right.
And then it still goes into what you watched on the show. I'm not, everything, I'm only speaking in the fractals though. So remember, even though I haven't watched the show per se, other than I know that it has a book series, that it's going out in a direction. So it's forecasting itself as a prognostication based on the perspective of the author. So even though they're telling stuff, we have to remember, I really don't know what they know. I can only see from my perspective to share, and at some point, that's our storyline might veer off depending on what we partner with, right?
Are you speaking of his dark material?
Yes. Yes, I'm speaking of the book Dark Material, which is based on the compass, because everything that we're talking about is still the compass,
Yeah.
right? Still is the process of completion, which is degrees and increments of becoming, which is synonymous with the calendar, because it's a year calendar that produces the completed cycle. And we have the opportunity to complete the cycle in a year. 6 months of mother, 6 months of father is the cycle. And we know that there is duality in this construct, but again, in through inculcation, we're always good to remind ourselves, because the world is so has such an influence on us that we lose sometimes the focus, and then we get so far out in extracting information that we lose the innocence of a foundation to remember, right? Because it's what it's all about, remembering that which we forgot. So we need to remember, are we seeing as it, or are we looking at it? Both are good, both are processing. We have to look at it first, and then we recognize and realize, oh, we're as it. But this is a procedure of establishing circle, right? There it is. Revelation says, I'm remembering that which I am. Now I see as it. Okay?
I see.
Simple words, but we need to remember that before we go into anything, so we don't distance ourselves, because remember that when we first started, it's but a dot on the wall, it's the center of the circle, but that's solely based on perspective. My job to assist you is to get into that dot, where you are now in the black room, in the complete saturation of black, but you are in the white room, right? Expression of all. This is the riddle. This is all a riddle. What is this? Black is light, and this light is black. completion.
Reminds me of a Cream song. In a white room.
In the white room. So we've entered the right room through the black door. As that goes. So it's a. I don't want to confuse people on the riddle because I don't like riddles, but the riddles have to be there to draw us in. It's the purpose of it. The riddle is there to draw you into the riddle, so you realize who you are in the process of opening the door. Because as soon as you enter in, you're calibrated to the frequency of the room. Otherwise, you wouldn't enter in. You're going, oh, I realize I am as the room. I've been looking at the door based on my perspective for so long, now I'm entering in as it. Okay? So we just need to remember that. So we've already determined that, and this is the hidden, there's the dark room. We have to enter into it. So we're just taking that same what I just said, and instead of looking at it this way, we're kind of coming this way, right? Same idea. It's just more so, but this is the light, this is the dark, this is the hidden, this is the revealed right now. And only through this revealing process of the first revelation will we comprehend the greater revelation. Father, mother. This whole side right here is this side right here.
Mother.
This Vavhe is over here. This is the height of Father. And the only way we can see that, again, is through journeying mother. I will keep on saying that, and keep on saying that, and keep on saying that. Until, for myself, actually, because you're assisting me to really bore in my own revelation of reality, just by simply sharing it. It's cementing in me my own conscious awareness, right? But so, and we know just again through inculcation that mother's purpose is to create. If Father
Humility?
would, pardon me? Humility, right.
Or I always feel it more grounded as, in me at least, teachability.
Right.
Because that's the utility that seems to me comes from humility.
Right, so there has to be a willingness to partner with her lesson, because that's what mother does as a child when she rears you. Her heart is that you be weaned and ripened, the gamal, the gimel, that you be weaned and ripened to be called mature, so you can take the hand of Father and go into the trade of your Father. The trade of our Father is the acts of righteousness, the revelation of knowing good and evil. That's our Father's trade. It's a family business. The Aleph, to become one, is the representation of one family. It's the law of one order. Family's order, family business. It's ancient in design, right? And intention. So, because this is the intention, the template to become. So we left off with the south, and it was just getting a little long, and we had to go, but I wanted to fill it up a little bit with some revelation, because we knew that south was Yamin, Yod, Mem, Nun. And so now we have south in its base form. That's the root of it. And so we've already established that this is the power, means, and direction, the Yod, the shorthand of mother, that will show you the way of mother over the waters of chaos, or through the waters of chaos, through the mighty blood, because it still means mighty and it means blood. So the dome, through the dom, the blood, you're going to find progeny, you're going to find perpetuity, because the Nun is a big word. The Nun is a big letter, and it means life. It means that this is the seed. You're going to find the seed of family. Okay. It's the seed in the paleo. So it's the seed of life. You're going to find the seed of life through this journey, and it's based on knowing what the West was, stepping out of the garden naked. We know the West is your skin. You're going to journey naked. You're going to have to gather your own materials to incrementally walk the walk of transmutation. So now we're into the south, and I just wanted to recap some of the things we shared. Now there's an amazing word, and I think you'll probably dig the number a little bit. So we got Strong's 144, and it means, I'll spell it, actually, you tell me what it is. without vowel points, but just, so now we have the word Benjamin,
Yeah, it's Benjamin.
Benjamin, which means the son, and we just said that this word's the south, right? Ben-Yamin, son, and we know that south is already equating as what, Jesse? As the right hand. Sun, right and sun means, south means it's the same word as north and left in Hebrew and in English. Again, inculcation. Origin of word in north in English means left. Origin of the word south in English means right.
Right.
In Hebrew, it means the same. So I'm saying this to edify the Hebrew, to justify its origin, because most likely the English stem from the Hebrew. I'm being very gentle and kind there. That it's establishing, saying this is where it came from. This is older than that. So what dictates, the lesser or the greater? Rhetorical, the greater. Okay. So now we have right. So we have Benjamin, son of the right hand. Strong's number 1144.
Wow.
Again, everything speaks, right? Or it doesn't. To me, in my world, everything speaks, and this is how I see. There's only one way to return home. So now we have the same word, and this word is rooted in, but we were talking about earlier, 3225, just to show, because it's right from Yod Mem, Yod Nun. So there it is. So that's its root, and it means the right hand. And in that word that Benjamin is rooted from, 3225, Yamin, it means the south. So it's saying the right hand and the left, or the right hand, the right side, the right leg, the right eye, a person or object, and then it says the south. So now Benjamin is the son of the right hand, he's the son of the south. He must have come the way of the west. Abraham would have known this. He knew that if I'm looking as it, then you want to become 360 degrees. And we're going to explain this, why this is, based on duality of how you become whole. Because 360 is just another word to say whole, which in the vernacular English, ill means not whole, healed means whole. So we're healing ourselves from ill, and this is going to go into good and evil, because I'm just talking a fractal of what I need to release, but I have to release it in fractals to you so you comprehend the transaction of transmutation. So you're becoming a light vessel through the journey of intention. This is how we see Father through Mother's eyes. They're one and the same, but you're realizing maturity, maturation comes in the journey, and now it's revealed as the greater measure. Okay? So, really interesting. I put this in for you. Well, for anyone else too, I guess. Really interesting. So, this word Benjamin, that's son of the right, son of the south. The next occurrence of this word, it's 1145. So it's just jumped one, and it's Ben Yamini.
Or just make sure to go so the camera gets.
Okay. So now we have a morphing of the next word, Ben Yamini, 1145, and it's the Ben, and it's the same now. So it's the Bet Nun, and it's the Mem Yod Nun Yod. Okay, so it's the same word, right? But now this is a descendant of Benjamin, and it's really interesting. 9 occurrences of this. And it says in the first occurrence, so here's the first occurrence. It says, the Benjamite, a left-handed. So the first occurrence of Benjamin, which means right-handed in south, the first occurrence says a left-handed one. What's the change? From Benjamin, we have a yod on the suffix. So he has built Ben, right? So we got, he has built, conjunctive dash, he has built while in the fallen nature. That bet in Hebrew is build bana, family. So build family. So he has built himself, again, as or at, he's built himself in the process of journey. He is considered family by doing this. You have to go the right, in his name it's saying you have to go the right hand way to build yourself. The left will reveal itself when you complete the right. Don't go the left hand way, because all you're going to realize is you're going to have a boot on your head to say stop. You need to go back the way you came, because that's how you learn humility. This is meekness. You can't be sealed in meekness until you know humility. So this Benjamin now has got an added yod on the suffix on father's side, and it's saying that this son now is, and it says, right, a left-handed Benjamite. By coming the right hand, I now have the power, means, and direction of the compass in my other hand. So my compass just switched, right, from internal, going the right hand path, the son of the right hand, because that's what Benjamin means. And now this word morphs, and the first occurrence is it's got a yod on it, Benyamini, because it's the E, and so now it's got a yod on the suffix. So now he has power, means, and directions, and it's called the left hand. It's actually very, very hidden to say, here's a right-handed and left-handed Benjamite that's journeyed. It's morphed. His name is morphed a little bit. So pretty cool.
So would that be progressional in
Yes.
acquiring more of the directions into the hidden as you've gone south?
Yes, absolutely. It's a good question, but absolutely. You already know the answer. But yes, absolutely. If you're journeying this way,
Not really.
well, okay.
I'm not doing this for the sake of
Okay, okay. Well, if Benjamin means son of the right hand, and everything in this circle is in, before we even put anything in here, there's the intention. This is us before we step in.
Okay.
As soon as we step into the west, you're hemispherically split. Your brain now has got it's got a valley and it has two mountains within you. Mother and father, male and female now are presenting themselves dependent upon. Okay, we have a linear way of thinking and a spiral way of thinking. But this is now macro, micro we're going into, right? So now we're into the hemispheres of your brain.
So as you've journeyed, a vision for the dark has been dropped in.
Something is hidden from you that is the greater revelation. Father. No one really knows Father. They think they know Father, but the only way to truly know Father is to know Mother.
Okay. All right.
Right? So Benjamin, and we know that this is why the compass is such a big deal, because it's only telling you the completion of the calendar, the completion of a cycle. So by going out of the west, we've already determined what the west is. This is your first step. Again, here we go again, right? So now you have to go to the way of the south. It's no more a circle than it is a journey. It's just inclination to becoming the intention. You're just realizing that inclination is synonymous with humility. By going low, you're going high. You're climbing the mountain through humbly realizing the process of life and death. On this side, this is actually equates as life. Actually, the whole thing equates as really life. Okay? So the whole circle, 360, is life. But as soon as we come into this construct, something has happened where something is pulled out of us, and now we no longer remember for the purpose of the journey. Because we already were whole, now we're coming into the experience to extrapolate out the purpose of what whole is. We're actually going to know that which we already are through the experience of laying hands and feet upon the journey of expression. So we say, I now know what whole is. I healed myself from a wound. I was ill, partially full, and in the process of journey, I have been made full again. I now know what it is to know what I know through the experience. Love. Love is good, bad, or indifferent. This is the beautiful part of this. This is the definition of love. Okay? But we have this split that says you're not going to remember that you came from something. You're going to have to go find it. Zelda, compass, orienteering. But I'm telling you, son, don't be a left-handed son. Be it, but no, you need to go with the right hand first. So Benjamin means right, son of the right hand. And this next morphology, I just think is interesting that, so now he says, so he's telling you go on the right hand, but now this morphology of Benjamin, so let's put his name up here again. From its first spelling, it's Bet Nun, okay? And then we have a Yod, Mem, Yod, Nun. That's Strong's number 1144. Strong's number 1145. We now have a Bet, Nun, conjunctive dash. So it's still connected. This is the sun. And it's Yod, Mem, Yod, Nun. Oh, that shouldn't be, that's not a fallen, that's a risen Nun. Yod. So see, that Nun is now risen. And there's a Yod placed on the suffix from the original Benjamin, the right hand. Still means the right hand, son of the right hand. But something, the Nun was lifted. And he has vision now.
Okay.
Vision.
Okay.
It's just a morphing, right?
Okay, got it.
And I just find it interesting. I just put it in there as I thought you might appreciate that. It may be a little advanced for you, but I'm realizing that how it speaks to me is going, oh my goodness.
It's lifting.
Because, and it's saying that, again, that you are, it's a descendant of Benjamin, so it's now in the family. Benjamin had to do his, now we have a descendant that's growing, and now he has vision on this side. And the first occurrence is the Benjamite, a left-handed one, a left-handed man.
Progeny. Continuing.
So his name, I'm the right hand, but the first occurrence is he's a left-handed man. And he has vision, power, means, and direction in both his hands. Pretty cool. I mean, just in that statement, if you can see correctly, you're going, oh my goodness. This guy is standing there going like, I'm center with both my hands empowered with vision, and I'm still in the earth, but I'm journeying with both visions of mother and father. It's really interesting to say that. It morphs a little bit in that because it even says that the name is actually, it morphs in that left-handed man because it's talking about Ish. And but I don't want to go off the topic, but it's saying that in that though, sometimes it's swapped with Ish, which means man. Aleph Yod Shin. So one that has the power, means, and directions through consuming fire, or the twin fires. Because Ish is twin, two, front. It's still that place that you eat to be fully consumed. So this is one that has the vision to be fully consumed. That's what man is. And man is not a respecter of, it's a word. It can be female too. Because Isha would be, and I've seen, Isha means woman, but I've seen husband and master with the hey on the suffix. And so it means man and woman, but we are man and woman. If you were a woman, you still are man quality. And if you were man, you still have Isha, woman qualities. We're all seeking one. So we don't want to get caught in the crosshairs of division, or derision is actually a better word. Derision for the sake of man, woman, man. No, we're in the macro, micro. I see as it. I am both. I'm finding my center as man and woman. My hemispheres are being joined hemispherically in my brain to become one. Okay? So I just think it's interesting that son of the left hand, it's kind of like interesting that they put it in there, but Ish is right in Benjamin. They're going Benjamin, but it's Benja Ish, so they're going, it's telling you that this is a completed man. So right in its own little story. And so, but I didn't want to go there because it's like another teaching. But anyways, so we'll go a little further. Thought that was interesting. The Latin word for Benny. Now we're going into a little bit of why we have the word, what's beneficent? Beneficence?
Benevolent.
Benevolent, they're all the same. Like they're still beneficus, because actually there's a root down from benevolent. So we're gonna go down from benevolent into beneficus, but let's take the prefix of ben,
Ah, okay.
because now we're talking still right hand. So now we're talking about, right, benevolence. So we need to know what we're talking about, right? So, and we're gonna go, because this word ben, in Latin, it's a Latin word, and it means well. And the opposite from maleficent, the prefix of maleficent, is ill. Right? So we're going to go some with this later on. I only want to focus on the ben side of it right now, so I don't lose you on it. And so this word means favorable, generous, to do good, honor, integrity, reverence, from the Latin. Now we were already in the breakdown of the Hebrew, so we already know that ben is attached to son. This is the well son, well done son, right? Ben, son, but it still is synonymous with daughter. It still is right there. It means, it doesn't separate anything out in derision. It's saying you are now well from ill. Illness is going on the darkness without going through the journey of restoration, of healing. So you are called sickly. This is where we get the word enosh from. It's enosh is mankind, and there's a lesser degree without a vav that's ish and enosh, and it means sickly and ill. There's a lesser nature of man that doesn't have a vav in it, that hasn't been pierced to become mankind, to know how to journey correctly so they can become a son, or simply well. It's simply, son just is a word that is waiting to be filled up through association or mutual consent to journey. Everything is about the journey. So son just means well. I am not pointing out any gender. I'm just simply saying you are well. Okay? Okay. And this is, again, this breaks down, and we're talking the 17th century and the 15th century. This is where this word came from. And it even ties into inheritance, right? Because we're talking benefactor. Because everything's an inheritance. You are a benefactor, a receiver of, right? Sonship. Only through wellness will you receive the inheritance as a benefactor, right? It's tied into the language. And so we have favorable, and this why it's generous, right? This is all the generous acts of our Father, Creator, that's saying it's all right there. You just have to find the path. So right-hand path of being well, from the ill, the left-hand path of maleficent, to benevolence. Okay? So we have a separation here. On purpose. Don't go that way, go this way. So, okay, now we're going to talk about, a little bit about, because we're talking about right. So you can probably tie this to 6667. And this word is Zedekiah, actually, but it's, let's put the spelling down here. So we have Zadi, Dalet, Kuf, Yod He. Righteousness. Zedek. Zedekiah. I put Zedekiah in here first for you, in Strong 6677, because it's got Zedekiah. Now everything's macro micro, so this is a little bit higher level teachings, because even though Zedekiah and this Yod He is on the suffix, it's actually speaking of the right hand path. So now it still is on this side. It's going to reveal Father, but this is kind of, this is a little advanced, right? Because we're told that everything on the left hand side is Mother. But in the macro micro of the higher degrees of teaching, that this is telling you already it's Yod He. Righteous humility. This is Mother, a righteous Mother, Yod He, Yah. Even of his name, Zedekiah, Yah. And it's rooted in, I think it's Strong's 3050, which is Yod He. So it's telling you, which goes further into Yod He Vav He. But it's the first. So, prefix, but it's on the suffix. But it's telling you righteousness is to become, right? Zedekiah. And it means the way of right. Right. Righteousness comes from going the way south from west. I'm drilling this in. I have no fear of you going the left-hand path. If you're going into the dark and you're realizing that you're gaining head knowledge and your head is being lifted up and it hasn't pierced your heart, stop. Turn, shoo. Go back where your head is bowed. Learn humility. If you ever veer off the path, you realize if you're getting too puffed up in your head and your heart isn't being filled, most likely you're on the wrong path. This is piercing all the way through, because this is the Vav that connects heaven and earth, and it dimensionally connects right through you. You are now a conduit for above to below. The only way you receive that mark of family, because it is all of Tav in one, is by going the right hand path. Anyone taking this there, I'm sorry, unless, if someone does it and they've just automatically walked in the mystery and they're being pierced and they're doing it kind of the way of the mystic, then that's great. But I'm just showing you as a template that it's directly saying that it's just saying humility is this side. This will produce much humility as you learn incrementally, right? They're both being revealed as we go, but humility is your teacher. That reveals the sovereign stand, kum, of a living song, ron, the cry of completion. It's the mourning journey of death. I mourn the process of becoming. That's what it all tethers to Lamentations. The weight and responsibility of becoming the intention is an arduous job to become. It's the weight of death is upon your shoulders when you realize that this is a fleeting moment. Life is becoming, because we already were. We already were. Life in a whole. So we are a fractal. And we're realizing that when we first stepped in, that this was life. We don't know what this is behind the veil now, because this is the hidden Father. And we're going like, I don't know what's behind there. It's death if I'm over there. So we've just redefined life. Well, now we've called this life. Again, inculcation, we've already talked about it. And anything back over here is death. Until we realize life is diminishing, and we're going like, wait a minute. I'm in death. I'm in Sheol. Sheol means to inquire and ask questions. When I'm fully arisen as the temple of Anat, it means I am the answer. I've answered the question that this is actually death. What is on the other side, completed, is life. So you've just inverted. So now life, from this perspective of finding right up in here, anywhere in here, is no longer what you thought it was. You better get on living, right? Well, yes and no, until you realize, wait a minute, the journey of life, in my perspective, is really the process of death. Now I comprehend life and death, because it's the measure of good and evil. It's the same thing. Benevolence, malevolent. I comprehend it by going the right way, the right hand path. I now see good and evil. I see life and death. I have become a measure of one tree of knowing what is. Welcome back to the garden. Because that is removed now. And you shed light on the dark. What is as dark as light and as light as dark? A completed one, knowing what is and what is not. I call you well. You healed yourself. Good job. This is part of the gift of life that back in Kings 24:17, there's a gentleman, Matanya, and it means Matan, a gift of Yah, but his name was changed to Zachariah. So he went from a gift of God into Yah's righteous, or the righteous Yah. It's interesting when they change his name. So it's like wow. So he was the gift. The gift is this. The gift is the becoming. And it's in his name. And then it was changed in 2 Kings 24:17 to say, I'm going to call you the righteous Yah, the righteous mother. That's the gift that you become. It's amazing to see that, right? And in his name, like I say, it's Matan, which is gift. If you want to look it up, it's 4676, and then it's Yah 3050. So it's right there that you're the gift of Yah. Now you received it, and now he's the righteous of Yah. Well done. Well from Mel. Okay, healed, fully restored, restoration of all things. Right. This Zedekiah, right doing, and this is where we get the word. And it's from 6665. Zadi, Dalit, again, Hoof, hey. Beneficence. Righteous, the same word. So we have the desire of the hunt and the chase to enter the door, to become that which is compressed, to become the living or beholding of the revelation. That's the journey of right doing. That's what it means. That means right doing. You want to know what right doing is? Benjamin, go the right hand path. Learn humility. Become well to be called whole. Because that's the fullness of wellness, is to become whole. I'm saying it 100 ways from 100 directions, the same thing. I'm saying it just focus on this, focus on this, focus on this, focus on Zadik, right? Desire, hunt and chase while you're in this matrix. And matrix is a Hebrew word, and it means the womb. The mother. From the womb of mother, you are birthed in the matrix. And it means the way of the firstling. So the way of the firstling is to compress. Through desire, you find the door to enter and to become the door, right? Now you're beholding of the final hay, which is the book of Revelation, the revealed. You are now revealed as a benefactor of right doing. You are completed in 360. I now call you well. Back and forth, it speaks the same thing. It's telling the same, very simplistic. But you cannot take this when I'm showing you and say I am. It must be You have to activate it through journey. Because everything is about the journey. No ifs, ands, or buts. I wish I could download it to you, but guess what? I don't want to crack your shell because I'm going to compromise your wings. You're going to have to find it. All I can do is show you the path. You have to choose to walk on it. You don't want it any other way because that was the problem. You don't want a regurgitated message. You're looking for resolve through affliction. And I'm telling you the same story. Affliction. On this side, resolve. There's your resolve to your affliction. Pain and suffering goes away when you empty yourself out to be filled in. The acts of righteousness, humility is your resolve. Meekness is humility's resolve. This word Morse down, it just keeps on going. This first one right here, only one occurrence of that in Daniel. And it says, right doing righteousness from your iniquities. Only one occurrence of that in Daniel. You can keep on going that even righteousness, the same spelling, 6666, righteousness, the exact same spelling, Zadi, Dalit, Kuf, Hey, righteousness, rightness, justice. Okay? Moral in a forensic sense. Morality is found in the way of right by seeking the resolve of affliction. This is all the law of finding oneself that is bound to celestial directions. I'm saying that purposely. Torot, Torah, the directions of light that are held by celestial law for the purpose of light being light. It's a contract of agreement of mutual consent that establishes that we're talking about judges of old. This is all the judge. This is justice is part of judgment. Through self-adjudication, I find the merciful seat. When this becomes completed in the circle of time, you are called well. You are now qualified as judge magistrate. Honor. Righteousness and honor are the same words. So now we can fill this up to say the right-hand path of resolve is justice. Resolved as honor. Yeshua established it. There's nothing I can do greater than become likened in the similitude of that which was of representation. By becoming that, I honor him to the fullness of his gift. Right? Zedekiah. The righteous acts of completion. So I become as he was in the earth, and greater things that you will do in the earth. There's not a greater way that I can honor than becoming his intention. But this is a lofty thing, right? Well, yes, it is a lofty thing. It will strip you bare of anything and everything that is tied to vanity and ego. You can still have stuff, but if you have vanity attached to it, most likely somewhere in your processing it will be removed from you by choice, willing consent, so you're able to navigate. It's easier to sojourn and journey with a light pack than being steeped into materialistic things of the world that compromise you in your becoming, the journey. We found that out, and it's just been a gift to us to realize that we travel light, metaphorically speaking, but yet a practical tool of becoming. This is synonymous with becoming. This same word means to clear self. Clear self what? From what? You're free and clear of all charges of adjudication. Anything in this system that has breached the intention, you're now cleared of it by self-adjudication. You've entered your own court system of self-introspection to realize what is clearing yourself. You freed yourself from the shackles of the prison system of an inverted reality that has projected a program upon you, has called it something that it is not. But by the influence of their intention, they have caused us to freely relinquish our own sovereignty, not even really knowing what we're doing. They've done it by influence. There's not a greater power than influence. A whisper. Either or. Because I see it in the language that a whisper, here it is, but it works on both sides polemically. It will draw you in or it'll spit you out depending on what your forensic work is doing to produce an intention. If you can see and hear, then you can become the intention. As it. Interesting. We know that this circle of 360, again, I'm drilling down the south, I'm drilling down the south, I'm drilling down, we're boring in here. This is a circle, it's called 360. When you are well from ill, you are called whole. I now call you. Complete. That word morphs, another lamed, mother, father, fully complete,
Superman.
whole. Absolutely. That is what Jor-El is his father, Kal-El is the son, and we have General Zod. What is Zod from?
I've heard you guys say this adversary.
It's the root of Zadik,
Right.
and it means adversary. Zadik is spelt, we just said what righteous is, Zadi, Dalit, Yod, Kuf. But we already know if I can see the adversary right, I am my best friend through being an adversary component. An adversary is affliction that moves me in a direction if I see it correctly. Zod, taking him out of the show, Zod is simply desire, hunt, and chase, the door of compressing light in the dark. Because it will reveal all. An adversarial friend, Hasatan, if seen correctly, will propel you because it's the same thing as friend. We've already gone through this. The Eye of Ra. Amir. Adversary and means friend. Foe and means all-knowing. So you're able to connect the two, going like the frequency is right there, just to mirror one another. A friendly foe is one that sees with both eyes, with the risen head of mother and the risen head of father. Resh resh, ayin ayin. Double measure, seeing both sides perfectly straight. I am the adversary. I am General Zod. I am Kal-El. I am Jor-El. Completed as one. It's just breaking it down. Zadik also means prosperity. natural. Legal. Moral forensics. This can,
It's a legal way.
it's the legal way.
Right way.
Yep. This right hand side is also Ben, son. This word for benevolent, it means generous or doing good, but this word right here actually breaks down ben and evolent, and it means evolution, the son of evolution. Benevolent. It's a Greek word and it means evolving through the curve or the arc. And this turns into a mathematical equation because this is known as the locus point. What is a locus point? It's a law, it's a mathematical equation that is determined by a center. It's determined by the radius of law. Any point on this circle, regardless of where I put it, is a locus point because it's the same measurement regardless of where, as long as it's determined by center. That's the law of the locus point. Out of the pit comes the arc and curve of those that have ascended by the law of the locus point. By knowing center, I know everything is the same measurement. It's how we arc measure. It's how they can format oops, let me do that again, sorry. Fast. You can take that out.
Yeah, I'll just clip that one out. You don't have to go fast.
In a perfect, this isn't perfect, but all these measurements are the same. Those are all locus points. If that was A and B and C and D and E, then A equals the same as B and C, right? And A equals, right, D and E. They're all equal. The measure of becoming is the locus point of intention, and it's a mathematical law that says I determined this completed 360 by the law of radius that is consistent in its measure. Doesn't matter where I touch on the circle, if I'm in center, everything is of the order of evolving.
It's harmonized.
Beneficent, right? Benevolent, evolving. It's the word for benevolent. The good. This goes really deep. We're gonna probably break it here because I need to really break down. But I will tell you this. So I'll leave you with this. Here's the Latin word. So let's do this. We'll leave it at this. This is a good way to leave. Son, which simply means well. So all are brought into wellness. Okay? It's just a word. Just a word. We need to fill it. It's just a frequency that's calling for something to attach itself to it to say, heal yourself. That's really what it's saying. Evolving. So here's the word for, in Latin, this part of evolving, and it means I fly away. I rush out.
an old hymn, isn't it? I fly away, fly away.
We say the words, we don't comprehend the action. Knowing it is one thing. Activating is another. Oops. Transformation of energy will not happen without the partnering of activation. You have to have a willingness hunt, chase, desire. This goes so into so many things. This is the way of the mole. The little tiny mole. Bore. Dig a hole. Come, I'm purposely saying this because where we're going to go, out of your pit. Desire. Become a forensic earth scientist. Dig into the works of Mother and Father. Extrapolate out your resolve. Become well. Heal yourself whole by going the way of the right hand. It will reveal the left hand to you. Through humility, you will find the meek hand of Father, the left hand side of yourself. And it will be called one again. But you're going to have to want it. You're going to have to desire it. Not in a negative, lustful way, but it is still the influence of my thought process has produced a longing in my heart for me to connect with an action that allows me to complete it, to be called resolved. I seek resolve. Only through the intention can I find a resolve of intention. Become one. It's good for now.